Oh, come on, Squid Game. Did you have to start off the next episode by reminding us that 199 is gone? It was traumatic enough when it happened the first time. I spent so much time already processing through it in the 4.8 seconds you gave me before you fired up the next episode. Dumb watches.
Make sure you catch up. The VIPs will arrive soon.
Show momentarily acts like the urgency of this matter is predicated on the arrival of a bunch of jerks that want bottle service, but follows up with no one, frontman included, doing anything differently than they were before. So, in the end, this was just an FYI to the viewer.
You're looking at me like you've seen a ghost. Are you okay?
Oh my, what a plot twist! Did the writers really expect us to believe a main character is going to be randomly killed off-screen? Of course not! So it'd only be shocking if they did. I'm giving the show a sin for teasing such a bizarre exit for this character and not following through with it. And yes, if they'd followed through with it, I'd give it a sin for just being bizarre. Welcome to TVSins. Hope you enjoy your stay.
Hey, this guy knows about it. The weakest link!
Trying to defend your favorite game show by finding one other person who's heard of it before.
Are you in here right now?
Looks like today's not Squid Game will be hide and seek. At least that's what I assume, considering the frontman is essentially doing a long-winded version of ready or not, here I come, instead of, just looking for the intruder without giving up the clear advantage known as the element of surprise.
You made one mistake. I always put the receiver down the other way.
Running the receiver cord across the phone, you monster. Also, even if it's intentional, I love how the aha gotcha measure you put in place is phone receiver orientation, as opposed to things like security cameras, motion detectors, or actual functioning human guards.
What's a cop doing here without a partner?
How do you know he doesn't have a partner? Just because you know he shot that bullet and someone fell for your super high-tech phone receiver setup doesn't mean there couldn't be another person with him.
I'm sure you have lots of questions. It's not too late to come out and talk.
I can't imagine Junho has many other questions in this moment aside from, why are you trying to have a conversation with me? That being said, the come out and let's have a talk line frequently used by villains would make a more compelling scene if people occasionally took them up on the offer. They actually had a chat and reconciled their differences. But this doesn't happen. It never does. Stop putting this in your stories. Leaving this door and every other door in this area unlocked.
We found a body.
This call alone coming in just in time to prevent this showdown is sinfully convenient. But on top of that, a moment ago, the frontman was so convinced someone was in here, he was talking to them. And all it took to derail this partially completed search was a call about finding a singular body on an island dedicated to murder gaming, where there also happened to be an unsanctioned organ harvesting scheme going on in tandem. What I'm saying is, their body's literally everywhere. But he assumes they found the droid he's looking for just because the plot needs him to. Also, he never says hello or anything when he picks up. But the guy on the other end just starts talking anyway. Whether or not walkie-talkies have evolved to silently notify you when someone answers, this is just bad two-way radio etiquette. Over. I know I've mentioned it before, but even with more of the beds missing and this much of these stick game squid figures showing, not a single person has mentioned the possibility of maybe looking at the wall to see which game might be next. Making out with your potato. Also, competing in a winner-take-all death game with your friend and or spouse undeniably makes you an asshole. So I can understand after the last game why the production team chose potatoes for this scene. There's no reason to gild the apple blossom, but Doksu aggressively eats this egalitarian root fruit to emphasize that he is the king asshole and deserves a sin as well. And yes, I know that fruit is spelled wrong, and that potato is not a fruit, and that I'm the real king asshole. Yummy. This is what it looks like when crabs have been placed on a body by a set designer. In real life, they're much more likely to swim alongside you while encouraging you to suck face with anyone who may be accompanying you. If a body comes along, you must scan it.
We found this police ID on him.
Which brings the question, why did he put his ID on the guard he killed? I mean, sure, he probably didn't want to be carrying it around with him in case he was caught, but what's the plus side to having it found on the corpse? Just chuck that thing off separately.
You want to start from the beginning again?
False dichotomies. Holy shit. Did you hear the sound that Mask made when he put it down? I'm not even sure how to approach the science on this one, mostly because I slept through my materials science class twice and then changed majors. But there's no way anyone would be wearing this thing for any amount of time. I mean, I love the flare, but they have to be so impractically heavy that the only possible reason these fanciful furry fetishists could wear these things for the entire episode is that this sound was the result of bad communication with the Foley artist. Americans.
Oh Lord, be my shepherd, be my guide.
This preys on for some time.
Trust me, the screens we have at home are plenty big, but nothing beats seeing it with your own eyes.
Oh, this is just like in the NBA playoffs where they don't sell the in-person tickets for the first few rounds. What's that? They do sell tickets to every single NBA game? Weird. Bringing in the VIPs after half the experience is already over just makes so much sense.
Oh, it's such a beautiful number. 69.
Oh, you dirty dog.
You'd think that when the English speakers came in that maybe the painful voice acting of the dubbed version would subside for a bit as we listen to characters speak with their own voices. You'd think so, but you'd be wrong. So very wrong. The fact that these colored platforms for the VIPs aren't all circles, squares, or triangles is an absolute travesty of consistent design. You made the buttons on the security camera controls these shapes, but for this you go with what? A cloud shape? A cloud?
God damn it. Just tell us about the next game. How long you gonna string us along like this?
Half leopard mask asshole would be excellent at Squid Game sins.
He's in a bad mood because of 69.
Well, that's just counterintuitive.
Looks like a bridge of some sort.
Aside from revealing that the people behind the Murder Olympics are just a bunch of rich dicks, nearly all of the VIP dialogue is just filler to convey their vague interest in the whole production. I wish the show would just give all these guys some gold-plated apples and move on to the Bridge to Squidabithia game already.
Please make your way down the steps and choose one of the mannequins that you see presented before you. Once you've chosen, take the corresponding vest.
I'm skeptical about whether the process of choosing the order is actually all that fair, but I'm more annoyed that they're making the already numbered individuals choose another number. So, the sin is excessive numbering.
There are plenty of other variables, but I think the order in which they compete matters most.
Disposition.
Well, if I can't do 69, I'll try 96.
Ah, yes, the lesser-known sexual position where partners lay back-to-back with their butts resting on the back of each other's necks, also known as the cheeky reeky. It's really popular in certain parts of the Florida Panhandle, from what I understand.
There are 16 people left, and there are 16 numbers.
Once again, our hero coming through with the razor-sharp observations. The amount of people in this episode stating obvious things for our benefit is astonishing. I can't tell if the show has all of a sudden become stupid or just thinks we are, but either way, here's your sin. Not performing the cheeky reeky correctly.
They always take the middle numbers first.
Less than 5 minutes ago, you saw this setup and had no clue what this game was, but now you're familiar enough with it to know what the players always do?
Okay, do it.
I can't confirm this due to the fact that they're all wearing animal masks and that the line was said off screen, but I'm nearly 100% sure that was BoJack Horseman. And now I'm upset he didn't get a bigger role in the show.
And now, as always, I'm choosing my number last.
Second to last, 96. If you were choosing your number last, there'd be no choice. In fact, no one chooses their number last. They take their number last. Really, the person who chooses last is the one before the final. No, I've talked so long I've disproved myself again, haven't I? These vests shouldn't be the same color as the guards' outfits. Phew. Saved it. This whole number selection process accounts for 6 minutes of this episode's runtime. That's around 10%. I don't even give my manager 10%. And this scene is definitely doing less work than Carl.
Oh, wow. It's bigger.
Title of Doctor Who's sex tape? Also, did they think the contestants were going to play on that model bridge? What is this, a Squid Game for ants?
The fifth game is Glass Stepping Stones.
All right, Glass Stepping Stones. Classic children's playground game. Good call.
The tempered glass stepping stones are strong enough to hold the weight of 2 people. However, the normal glass will break even if just one person steps on it.
Don't worry about the fact that you're all different weights and that there might be 2 smaller people who weigh about the same as one bigger person. The glass has read the script and knows what to do. Have you ever kicked your feet up on a naked human leopard footstool while sitting up and forward like this? Put strain on your hamstrings and abs. The only reason he's got his leg up there right now is because the set designer was like, we spent 5 hours in makeup on this body paint. By golly, you're gonna use it, mister.
You picked right.
Pain relief.
That's it. Keep doing that one after the other.
Yes, keep getting lucky. Just try really hard. I saw a poster once that said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity, so now's your chance. Also, I think he's well aware he should keep picking the right one. This is like when someone tells you to drive safe. Thanks, Aunt Susan. Guess the blindfold Cain and ferret idea I had will have to wait for another day.
2 to the power 15. Times that. 1 in 32,768.
Nerd! I'm surprised no one's attempted to make a run for it. Oh, never mind. Well, at least I'm going to send the fact that no one attempts to walk along the red rail. Sure, it's probably against some rule no one knows or that they haven't made up yet, and anyone who attempted this would end up being shot down by a drone carrying crossbows or some shit. But if any of that's true, we deserve to see it. The series shows us all the deadly details we don't want for 6 episodes, but now that we've acclimated to this blood sport they let up...
You happen to remember what he chose next?
Even if she doesn't, certainly one of the other 12 would have been paying close attention. You know, what with everyone's lives on the line and all, right? Benefits every single person here for each contestant to get as far as possible. So I'm befuddled as to why this isn't a more cooperative group conversation.
If one of those players gets scared and starts to run down the time, we're in danger in the back of the line.
True. So my question is, what happens if they all die? Does everyone just go home? Do the VIPs get their money back? This is shoddy game planning at best. There's that sweet, sweet Squid Game visual flair I know and love. Take a sin off her this gorgeous tracking shot before my goodwill shatters. Oh, please. Keon has been diligently adding up probabilities and tracking the game, and he forgot which one every single person has been stepping on first. I get the narrative fun of it, but I shall repeat. Oh, please.
We're in hell here. There's no rules in hell.
Citation needed. The clock continuity in this episode isn't great, but this section here is probably the most egregious. At the start of this argument, it says 5:46. The show shows them arguing in real time for exactly 1 minute and 4 seconds, and then shows the clock at 5:09, having only ticked down 37 seconds. I'm not sure what technology allows them to fast forward through time during arguments at double the speed, but market that to marriage counselors immediately. The art behind them in this room is absolutely pornographic, but it's also kind of amazing, which means they hired an artist to come out to the hidden death game bunker and paint the adjoining sex room. I bet that's how they even stated it on the contract.
Tell me everything you know about the game.
I'd give all the sins back if he started his answer right now with, well, it's really one of Fincher's underrated gems.
Just go!
I've accepted the use of these game pieces to track what's going on in the game, but using them to make the shittiest instant replay ever, well, that's a bridge too far.
I need you to know, you've got such a tiny
Buying into the lie that size is all that matters. It's such a common trope, and at the end of the day, it's just a fallacy.
Now there's a poetic ending for those two.
I mean, it was until you felt the need to clumsily comment on it.
Another student of the Bard. I had no idea.
Actually, it's not Shakespeare. It's Congreve. William Congreve.
The VIPs take a break from adding nothing to the episode just to be kind of okay at TVSins. There is no way these binoculars are doing much good when they have to be held inches from the face because of this mask. Have you ever tried to use binoculars without holding them right up against your eyes? I mean, you can see a bit, but there's no way you're getting a good look into the neighbor's bedroom that way. I mean, Squid Gaming, he can't see the squid. You can't see the Squid Gaming.
I used to make glass for over 30 years.
Of course you did. The VIPs and frontman have a quick but boring discussion about this guy's ability to distinguish between the different types of glass and conclude this is not fair. But how is bringing your own life experiences to the game not fair? Doksu brought all his experiences of being a big dumb meanie to the game and used that to his advantage all the time. So how is this really any different? I suppose this could be a point the show is trying to make, saying that they aren't actually all that concerned with the fairness of the games, but the way this show goes about conveying this makes it seem more like the frontman doesn't even understand the concept of fairness. At least that's the only way I can explain his stump speech in episode 5.
That was in the report. How did I miss that?
Because you didn't even know what this game was until 15 minutes ago. Also because you're a lazy rich bastard who gambles on people's lives and probably doesn't spend his time researching every last detail of the pawns in your game of Viscera, but mostly the first thing. I see he's given up on the 3-button design from earlier this season and opted for a more intuitive touchscreen. Quitter.
Okay.
Standing and admiring your murder instead of getting the immediate hell off the death trap. I suppose the clock behind them doesn't even matter anymore, but it was on for most of the game, so we must assume that it's only off now because it's on the same switch as these lights at the opposite end of the bridge. And this kind of shoddy craftsmanship is the reason I have to hit all 3 switches in my living room before I find the right one. Sharpish, explodey glass MacGuffin is cliffhangering all over the place, making it nearly impossible for me not to immediately watch the next episode.
I wasn't a mistake, Mama.
Surprise, surprise, motherfucker! The king is back!
That's amazing, isn't it?
Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh.
We found a body.
Where is it?
Somewhere under those bushes was the rest of Ray Brower.
See that? That's the price of being in here.
Cost me $14 in a record player.
I gotta embrace the marble!
Hey, we're walking. Seriously? I find it hard to believe the host would miss a night like tonight.
We didn't want him to know that we were having a game night. You know, he used to come and we don't like him anymore, so.
Gentlemen.
Without much further ado, I give you the Derek Zoolander Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good.
What is this?
But recall, too, that in the first game,
Most of the contestants in the back died after running out of time, so...
I can clearly not choose the wine in front of me.
What pretty eyes you have.
Better to see you with, my dear.
Take your mask off.
I'd like to take his face off.
I admire your luck, Mr.
It's Congreve. William Congreve.
Tempered glass is made at a heat over 700 degrees. Pound on it with a hammer and it rings clearer than normal glass.